Hey everyone! Today we are diving deep into something called the Ouroboros Codex. Now, this is a really fascinating framework for making sense of the world, but it's so much more than just some ancient philosophy. It's actually a modern playbook for mastering the systems that are secretly shaping our lives.
So, what's the big problem this codex is trying to solve? Well, it's this idea that we're all living inside these complex, repeating cycles. And a lot of the time, we feel more like we're just along for the ride instead of being the ones in the driver's seat.
I mean, really, think about it for a second. Have you ever had that feeling of just hitting the same wall over and over and over again? It's a feeling we've all had, right? And the Codex suggests that this isn't just a feeling, it's actually a fundamental part of how our reality is structured. And these loops, man, they are everywhere once you start looking. We see them in our jobs, that cycle of burnout, followed by boredom, then back to burnout. We see it in creative projects, where we get stuck on the exact same problem. You can even see it on a huge scale, with societal debates that just spin in circles, or even in our own personal habits we just can't seem to shake. These are the loops the Codex helps us see. Okay, so how do we break free? Well, the Codex proposes a pretty radical shift in how we look at things. It takes that ancient symbol of the Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, and reframes it. It's not just a myth anymore. It becomes a practical, hands-on tool for right now. And the Codex gives us what it calls a high-fidelity lens. And trust me, this isn't about some vague, fuzzy concept. It's a really precise way to see the hidden architecture of these systems, the invisible rules that are running everything from your morning routine to a company's entire business strategy. And here's the promise. This is the ultimate goal. Instead of just being swept along by these cycles, the Codex is designed to give us the tools to become the conductor of the symphony, to actively shape the outcome and direct the flow of events. It's an incredibly empowering idea. So to become that conductor, you first have to be able to read the sheet music, right? This brings us to the foundational toolkit of the whole theory, a framework it simply calls the map. The map is made up of these four crucial components. Think of them as the four cardinal directions you can use to analyze any system you find yourself in. We're going to break down each one. First up, you've got the whole. This is the entire system, the serpent itself. So if we're talking about, say, a creative project, the whole isn't just the final product, no. It's the entire ecosystem, from that very first spark of an idea all the way to the marketing launch and what customers say afterwards. Everything is connected. Now, within the whole, you have the parts. You can think of them as the individual scales on the serpent. In our project example, these are all the distinct units: your team members, the software you're using, your marketing materials, even the budget. Each part is a vital piece of the puzzle. And then there's the loop. This is the engine, the absolute heartbeat that keeps the system alive. It's the process of an effect turning back around to become a new cause. For our project, imagine you get feedback from users. That's an effect. But when you take that feedback to develop a new feature, that effect has just looped back to become a brand new cause. That's the engine of progress right there. And finally, and this is a huge insight, we have the paradox. This is the creative friction. See, where other systems might see conflict as a problem, the Codex sees it as fuel. That tension you feel between a super tight deadline and a really ambitious creative vision, that's not a bug, it's a feature. It can spark some incredible innovation. So, to quickly recap it all, the whole is the serpent that contains the system. The parts are the scales that make it up. The loop is the heartbeat that brings it to life, and the paradox is the spark that fuels it. That right there is your fundamental map for deconstruction. But a map is only useful if you actually use it to go somewhere. So this is where the Codex moves us from just seeing the system to actively influencing it. We're shifting gears from analysis to action. This is the pivot point. The map taught us how to see the system. Now the engine is what teaches us how to act within it. It's all about turning those aha moments into actual, tangible results. And this is where it gets really 21st century. A key idea from the engine is what's called the cognitive spiral. This is a practical method for using human-AI collaboration to tackle a level of complexity that's just, it's too much for our brains to handle on their own. So let's look at how it works. It starts with a human spark. That's your intuition, your goal. Then AI amplifies that by mapping out all the complex variables and modeling what could happen. Next, it comes back to you for human insight. You make the strategic call. And finally, you execute. You get feedback.
and the whole loop starts again, getting smarter and more refined each and every time.
Okay, so we've mapped the system and we've fired up the engine. So what's the most crucial thing we need to walk away with? How do we really start conducting our own symphony? It all comes down to this number, 4. The entire Ouroboros theory is built on 4 foundational pillars, 4 lenses you can apply to any loop in your life, starting right now.
And here they are. Unity is the force that holds it all together. Balance is what keeps it stable and from flying apart. Symmetry provides the structure and the order. And paradox, that crucial, fiery element, is the force that ignites its growth and its evolution. So, the single most important idea to take away is this powerful reframe. The loops we feel trapped in are not prisons. They are instruments. They are orchestras. They are symphonies just waiting for a conductor. They're waiting for you.
And that brings us to our final question. With this map and this engine, with these 4 pillars in mind, I want you to think about your work, your projects, your life. What loop will you step up and conduct first?